What is going on, guys? Vukasin here from Dire Solutions, and today we will be creating a development environment using Hyper-V on Windows. In order to run Hyper-V on Windows 10, you need to have any of the editions installed except for the Home Edition, which does not support Hyper-V. In the description below, I will add all the links that we will go through right now so you can see it by yourself. So basically, in order to enable the Hyper-V, you can use this guy in the PowerShell, and it's pretty much straightforward. You do this, you restart your computer, and you will be able to open the Hyper-V manager, and you have all the everything installed. The next thing we will need is the Ubuntu server. So you just go to ubuntu.com/download/server, and you will be getting the Ubuntu server 1804 LTS. So that's for the Ubuntu. I'll be using putty for as an SSH client. You can use whichever you want, but for this purpose we'll use Ubuntu. Also, I'll be using the MySQL workbench for manipulating with the databases. Again, you can use whichever you like. I just like this the most. And also, I'll be using the PHP Storm, which basically has capabilities to attach to the remote server, have all the files copied to your local machine, and then all the edits, all the saves and everything are uploaded directly back to the server. So to start this off, we will first download the Ubuntu server 1804.3 LTS and place it anywhere on your local machine, and then we will start the Hyper-V Quick Create app. We will choose the local installation source and select our ISO image, and also we will untick this guy and click on Create Virtual Machine. After it's done, click on Connect, and this will bring you this screen. Click on Start, and your installation will start. This will have some waitings, so you need to be patient. And when the installation starts, you will do next. So first of all, select your language, select your layout variant. On this page, don't do anything. We'll be just doing the default installation, so no proxies. We'll leave the mirror as is. Use an entire disk. Also choose the first available option, click Done, click Continue, and you're good to go. So for here, you can type your info. So for us, it will be Dire Solutions as your name. Dire Solutions -serv is the server's name, dire_solutions is the username, and then test123 and test123, since this is only accessible to us. Over here, you should install OpenSSH server. You can just tap space and it will automatically check it. So that's fine, and this page, leave everything as is and let this run. So when your installation is done, you can click on Reboot, and now press Enter, and it will automatically reboot itself, and it will start your image, and basically this will actually be the Ubuntu container that we'll be using to host Magento 2. So after it's done with loading, you can log in with your username and password. And what we want to do is next, in order to use PuTTY or any other SSH clients, we want to disable the firewall. So in order to do that, we'll type in sudo ufw disable, password for sudo, firewall is stopped and disabled on system startup, so that's fine. And the next thing that we want to do is to get the IP address of the container, which will be useful for the rest of the process. So if we type ifconfig, then we can see that there is a ETH0, and please write this IP address down because we'll be using it a lot throughout the whole thing. So mine is 172.17.248.211. After this, we can close this window and we will now go to PuTTY. So when we open PuTTY, we will put the IP address in and click on open. We will get the security alert, we will say yes, and we will log in as before with the username and password. So in order to continue, we need to do a few things. First, switch to sudo user, type in the password, do the apt-get update, check the PHP version. If for some reason PHP is already installed, you can use so basically you will get the PHP version, and for that, let's say it's 7.3, we will use apt-get purge PHP 7.3, which will actually then delete the PHP and all of its components. So first of all, we need to run a set of commands to install all the things that we need. These will be available in the description down below. I won't go through each of them, but just please copy, paste them, run them, and this will install basically everything you need. So the first thing is installing the software properties by a common apt-utils and adding a repository for the PHP. So the next one is installing the Apache, installing mysql-server and iputils-ping if you need that for anything. And the next one will be installing PHP with all of its extensions that are required by Magento 2, so PHP 7.1, and also installing all the dependencies for PHP and for the Apache. And the last thing that we will install are some Ubuntu utils as well as the composer itself. So let this run, and then we'll start with MySQL. With MySQL, we will start with typing in mysql_secure_installation. And basically for the first part, since this will be the test server, the development server, we don't really need a lot of security, so we just want to go through it as fast as possible. So we will not validate the passwords, we will set the root password here. We will not remove any anonymous user. We will not disallow, and we will not remove the test databases, and also we will reload the privileges. So with this done, we will then log into MySQL using the password for the root user. And what we'll do now is create a new user. So type in create user Magento 2 at localhost identified by password that you want to put in. So basically for me it will be like this. And if everything is okay, you will get this guy here. So what we need to do next is we need to add all privileges to this user. So grant all privileges on all to Magento 2 at localhost, and this guy is also fine. And the last thing that we need to do is to flush these privileges, and you are all set with MySQL. So basically what we will do next is we will log in with that same user that we just created, and we will basically create a new database that we will use for Magento 2. So create database Magento 2, and we will exit. So the next thing to do is to actually install the Magento 2 website, and we will be doing that through the composer, but there are a lot of different ways to do that. If you have already existing project, you can just install the FTP on your Ubuntu machine and then just transfer all the files, or do a git clone, or whatever way you want to do it. In this video we will be installing it via composer. So basically what we want is to go into our www.html, and in there we will execute this command. This command will be available in the description down below as all the others. So before we execute this, we first need to go to the Magento marketplace, log in, and we need to go to the My Profile, access keys, and we need to create these keys in order to actually run the composer install. So right now, if I type enter, I will be prompted to add my username and my password. The username will be your public key, and the password will be your private key. And if everything works as expected, you should store these guys in, because whatever new project you want to run via composer on this machine, it will not ask you for your credentials again. If you don't want that, then you should not store them. So when composer is done, you should wait a bit for that, and please be patient because it needs to install a lot of things. When that's done, we will start assigning permissions to the folders, user groups, and those things. So first thing, we will add our Ubuntu user to the -data user group. To do that, we will write user mod -a -g -data and your username that you use to log in to Ubuntu. With that set, we will need to add permissions to -data to actually have permissions on the Magento 2 root folder. So to do that, we will say chown minus r dub minus data column dub minus data, and then full path, so var dub html and then Magento 2. So now we're good to go. We will first need to go into Magento 2 root folder, and then first we will remove all the caches and things from there, and now we will just do chmod on the folders that we need. So first folder is var, the second one is generated, and the third one is app/etc. So now that we have this done, we will nano the htaccess first. We will remove the setenv comment to the developer. We will save that, and now we will enable the rewrite module for the Apache. To do that, we will type in a2nmod rewrite, and this should do it. We will need to restart the Apache, but we'll restart it later because we still need to do some things on the Apache side. So next we will add the virtual hosts to the Apache. So in order to do that, we'll run nano etc/apache2/sites available/000-default.conf and delete everything from there and paste in the text that I will supply in the description and save that file. And now we are good to restart the Apache, and if everything is good, it will not throw us any errors. So in order to start the installation of the Magento, we should add the, let's say, the main to the hosts, so we have one point of entry to everything. So open the hosts file. It's in the C, Windows, System32, drivers, etc, and then the hosts. And copy the IP address that we have for the container, so for the Ubuntu image that you use to SSH into, and you can type in whatever you want, but something like this should do it. Save it, copy this URL, and we should be good to go. Now open that URL in your browser and you will see this page where you can actually start doing the setup. So start readiness check, it will check for all the permissions, all the versions, all the PHP stuff, all the MySQL stuff and everything. If that's good, and it should be good, click next. So we need to add the database info. So we set up the database user and the database itself. So for myself, it will be Magento 2, test 1, 2, 3, and the database is Magento 2. If you click next, it will check for it. It will throw you any errors if there are any. So basically, this is what will be stored in the database, and this everything looks fine. For the admin, since you are the only one who will be seeing this, you can use it like this. Over here, I mean, this is the installation thing, so you should know what you need from within here. Just for the sake, we will deselect all the modules. We'll have everything in place here. So username will be solutions, email will be office@solutions.com, password will be test, confirm password will be test. Click next, install now, and wait for the installation to finish. When the installation is done, you can open the two links that are provided here. Basically, this is like to have an overview on what's going on, and you will see that it actually runs and it actually opens everything fine. So the last step in this process will be to open the PHP store, and we will click on create new project from existing files, and select that the web server is on a remote host. Files are accessible via FTP, SFTP, and FTPS. So with this, we will rename project Magento to dev environment. You can set the project path that will be on where it will be on your local, so on Windows machine, and select the custom option here. So the next thing is I like to disable I don't like to exclude anything because I can do all the git things and everything from my terminal. And what you need to do is you need to set upload changed files automatically to the default server to always. Everything else should stay as it is by default. So over here we will add a new Magento server, or add a new remote server actually, and over here we will select the SFTP, and then we will name it whatever you want, so Ubuntu 18.04. The host will be Magento, without the HTTP, so magento2.local.com. The username will be Dire Solutions, so the one that you're using to log in, the password will be the same to log in. For the Ubuntu, it will ask you to add this guy, say yes, test connection, it will test the connection, and everything should be fine. And in the root path, since this is, we're only using it for one project, we will go and select the root path to be var magento, HTML Magento 2. Click OK, and the web server URL will be this guy. In the advanced, this is, everything is fine, so just click next. And over here in the root, so on Ubuntu 18.04, click on it, select project root, click next, and for the web path we will make it empty. Click finish and wait for it to finish copying all of the files. So when the PHP storm has synced all the files, to the right you will be able to see your remote host, and you won't be touching this. There's no need to. All the files are synced, so whatever you change on local will change there. And in order to prove that, we will put something like something else here. We will do Control S. You will see that there are some failed attempts here, but don't worry about them. That's all basically not important. And if we go into the root folder and do nano index PHP and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see that something else here is there. Also, if we revert that and control save it and again edit it, we will see that that guy is not there. And if you have permission issues, the only thing that you need to do is to set in permissions to write to the Magento 2 folder. So you will do the chmod -rg+w/var/www.html Magento 2, and that should solve the write issues. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. If you have anything to say or to ask, please leave all of those in the comments, and until next time.